What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. And the US is probably only one minor thing from being drawn into this war in a major way. And take a look at some of the things the US is saying here. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby won't rule in or out if US troops would help free hostages caught in Israel Hamas war. Let me know your thoughts if you think US troops should actually go in and do this, which would put US lives, military troops on the line. Should they actually do this? Also, here's what Jake Sullivan, United States National Security Advisor to the president, has to say here. We're literally one step away from being in this war. And it's different because there's no nukes involved this time. Remember, with Russia, there's nuclear weapons involved. And that's probably why the US and NATO didn't get involved full time and they had to tiptoe around the war because of Russia's nuclear weapons. Hamas doesn't have nuclear weapons here. And while the US could get involved much faster this time around. Take a listen to what Jake Sullivan has to say here.
Is rescuing the hostages a priority at all? I mean, Israeli news media like Haaretz, they say it doesn't seem like it at all. And frankly, Jake, if my kids were being held hostage in Gaza, and as you know, there are Americans being held hostage in Gaza right now, I'd want you to send in the Navy SEALs. What's the conversation like in the White House about the U.S. conducting any sort of operations in order to save Americans being held hostage in Gaza?
Well, the president has been very clear that he has no higher priority than getting Americans back safe, Americans who are being held hostage by Hamas.
The Israelis are bombing the crap out of Gaza, Jake. I mean, it doesn't seem like saving the hostages are a priority at all right now.
Well, for President Biden, they are a priority. They're the highest possible priority, and he has sent hostage experts to coordinate and consult with the Israeli government on hostage recovery efforts. He's also made sure that our diplomats are in touch with third countries in the region to explore avenues for their safe release. I have to be cautious about how much I can say about certain efforts he's undertaking because we want to protect those efforts to give us the best possible chance of getting our people home. Now, Jake, one important point when it comes to the issue of the Navy SEALs is we do not at this point have pinpoint location information for where the American hostages are. So we have to continue to refine our understanding of where they are and even, Jake, who they are, because we know there are 15 unaccounted for Americans, but we cannot confirm the precise number of American hostages being held by Hamas at this time. All we can do is to continue to work closely with the Israeli government on hostage recovery options, which we are doing, and then work through third countries to see if there are avenues for release. Those efforts are underway. Our hope is that they can produce results. We will continue to stay focused on this. It's as high a priority as the president has.
One senior political operative with Hamas floated the possibility a few days ago of a potential prisoner swap with the U.S. for the release of hostages. Would the U.S. entertain that?
We have not looked at that we have not heard from them something like that. That's not something that is currently under active discussion. It has not been proposed. What we are focused on instead, as I said before, are pursuing avenues with third countries for release. I'm not going to get into the details of what that might look like, again, to protect those channels in hopes that they can bear some fruit. But I will say that President Biden has shown over the course of the past few years that he will make hard decisions to get American hostages home. In this case, our focus is on working through those third country channels, and I'll leave it at that for now.
So I think there are serious reasons to question how good any intelligence about what is in Gaza is. I mean, obviously, Hamas was able to carry out this horrific attack 8 days ago, catching everybody completely off guard. You just said that we don't know where the hostages are in Gaza. And yet the Israelis claim, the IDF claims, that it is bombing places that it knows are Hamas targets. How can we be sure that that's true? I mean, Hamas is a terrorist group, don't get me wrong, but how do we know anything about what they're hitting, given the fact that it doesn't sound like any of the intelligence inside Gaza is particularly good?
Well, Jake, Israel has known where particular parts of Hamas's terrorist infrastructure have been located. They know, for example, where rockets are fired from, and they can go back to those locations to take out the rocket emplacements. They know from various forms of intelligence collection where certain individuals are located who are senior commanders in Hamas, who are part of the bloody and barbaric attacks that took place against Israel last Saturday. So they do have information to be able to go after specific targets, actionable targets, similar to the way the United States has been able to do that in other places, in other contexts. The United States has taken a very clear stand. It is a stand that we don't just take in this situation, but we've taken all along, which is that we stand for the rule of law, we stand for the law of war, we stand for the protection of civilians, and we want to make sure that innocent Palestinians who have nothing to do with Hamas can get to safe areas where they will be safe from bombardment and where they will have access to necessities like food, water, shelter, and medicine.
Also, President Biden is possibly thinking about going to Israel. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. It's literally a war zone there. But you think about when he didn't go to East Palestine. Sometimes I question his decisions here. Unbelievable, right? And also, Biden warns Israel not to occupy Gaza. While the president has stood strongly behind Israel since Hamas attack, he said on 60 Minutes that a new occupation of Gaza would, quote, be a big mistake. He said Israel should not occupy Gaza, but he did not explicitly say whether Israeli forces should enter the enclave temporarily. He said, quote, look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people. And I think that it would be a big mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza again. But take out the extremists there is a necessary requirement. I tend to agree with what he's saying there. I also think that there's going to be a lot of innocent people from both sides caught up in this war, just like all wars. Just so you think about the Ukraine war, all the Ukrainian people, all the innocent people. You think about Russia that has hit all the schools and apartment buildings and stuff like that. We're already seeing this happen here already in this war. I think it's already been the deadliest war in the area in like over 100 years already. And, this is why these situations are just so unbelievably sad. And, you got to think here, how did Hamas get all these missiles, 2,000 plus missiles on the first day? That is something I can't get past. Where did they get all this funding, all these military supplies from all of a sudden? I just keep going back to Iran and Russia. I just think that Vladimir Putin seems to benefit from this all too greatly, with the U.S. taking their focus off of helping Ukraine defend himself and now having to help Israel defend itself. This will benefit Vladimir Putin and Russia significantly. And I think that this is exactly what Vladimir Putin wanted. Just let me know your thoughts here in the comments. So don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos. I will keep you up to date. Don't forget to like and share these videos. Click here to see why Biden just pissed off Iran and they may enter the war in full force. or click here to see my newest video next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.